Have you wanted to write a book for years, but just haven't gotten around to it? In today's video, we're going to cover 5 powerful reasons why 2025 is the perfect year for you to finally get off the sidelines and finish that book that you've been writing forever. Hey y'all, my name is Lisa. Welcome to A New Life with Lisa, and I post videos that help you write and live God's way. If you're looking to honor God with both your writing and your life, you've come to the right place. So, as I said, today we are talking about what it means to finally finish your book in 2025 and why I think it's so important for you to do so. So, definitely stick around towards the end of this video because reason number 5 is really powerful. All of the reasons are great, but make sure you stick around towards the end. So, reason number 1 why 2025 is the perfect year for you to finally finish your book is because God told you to write your book now. This is so important. If you're a kingdom writer like me, if you are looking to honor God with your writing and with your books, it is so necessary. It is so important that you recognize when God is speaking and when He is leading you to write your book right now. I know sometimes this can be scary. I know it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we wrestle with this and we worry about whether or not we are following what God is saying and following His leading. But it is so important and necessary. If you are a kingdom writer, our mandate is to follow and obey God. You may not have all the details. You may not know exactly how things are going to go. You may be kind of shaky as you're taking your first steps, but we have that responsibility to honor God, to follow Him in our lives, and to trust Him even when He's leading us to do something bold and scary. And so you don't need to have the ins and outs of what will happen or exactly how it will happen when you first start out. This is one of the most important things about being a writer and being a kingdom writer in particular is you just need to step out and be willing to take those first few steps of faith. And because you never know, I like to say that you never know what your obedience is protecting you from, what it's providing for you in the future, what it's going to do in you personally, how it's going to change you. You just never know. You never know what could come out of your obedience. And so it is so important that you take that bold step of faith and you really walk into all that God is calling you to do. I also believe that you never know what your disobedience might be costing you on the back end, further on down the line. And so that's not to invoke fear or to scare anyone, but it is just really a reminder of how important it is that we do have a higher calling, that we are called to honor God and to obey Him and to follow His leading. And so, in my opinion, this is the most important reason of them all, and it's the one we need to take seriously as believers. If you feel that God is calling you to write your book now is the time to get started. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just get started. Amen. Reason number 2, why it is important for you to write your book and finish it in 2025, and why this is the best time to do it, is that books can be a powerful tool for wealth and legacy building. This is one of my personal favorites. I am a huge advocate for godly legacy and godly wealth building, and there is a lot of biblical precedent for this. Proverbs 13:22 is one of my favorite scriptures, and it says that a wise man builds an inheritance for not only his children, but his children's children. And that is so key for us to remember as believers. We have a responsibility not only to build for ourselves and to just to create a framework and a legacy for ourselves, but also for those who will come after us, even for our descendants later on down the line. And it's so important for us to keep that in mind with the decisions that we make right now in our lives. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 2 says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. This is just wisdom in general. You don't even have to be necessarily a believer in Jesus to know this, to understand this, and to walk this out, right? We don't want to have all of our eggs in one basket. And so there's so much wisdom in having multiple streams of income. And writing and publishing a book is such a powerful way to do that. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Let me just put that out there. If someone is promising you the sun, the moon, and the stars, and that you're going to become a millionaire overnight, you need to check the fine print, because writing and publishing a book is absolutely not a get rich quick scheme. It is a great long-term strategy. It is something that you can build toward over time, and you can develop that source of income over time. But it takes work. It takes hard work, and it takes planning and intentionality. But if you're willing to put in the time, the effort, the financial resources, if you're self-publishing, then you can really, it can be a lot of financial benefit for your family, not only for you. Again, we're thinking towards the generations and family members that come after us. So for your children and even your grandchildren, it can be a wonderful, powerful blessing. And not only that, but let's be real, inflation is inflating out here, okay? It is a lot going on in the world economically, and you can't really go wrong with building a legacy for yourself and building your financial house, and really having multiple streams of income that way. So you don't necessarily have to quit your job or anything like that. You could just publish books on the side and have that be an additional source of income for your family. And that is a fantastic reason for you to publish right now in 2025. Reason number 3, why I believe it has never been a better time to write and publish your book finally in 2025 is because it's never been easier or more accessible to publish than it is right now. If you just think about how different things were even 10 or 20 years ago, let alone 50 years ago or a century ago. It is worlds different now for people to publish and to be able to release their work on their own terms and maintain a lot of creative control. Self-publishing has completely disrupted the publishing industry and created a lot of opportunities for writers who, quite honestly, would not have those opportunities any other way. And that's not to say that I'm against traditional publishing. I'm not by any means. I think it's a wonderful option for writers who, for a variety of different reasons for different writers. But I also believe in self-publishing, and I think it's a powerful option for writers who choose to go that route for different reasons. There's also been a rise in writers who do both. And I think that is a fascinating option to take as well. I think that it can be really beneficial for writers and publishers. And so there are so many options out there. That's really what this boils down to, is that writers have more choices than ever before. And so as I said, even a decade ago, things were very different in terms of the stigmas associated with self-publishing and just the different types of platforms that you could publish through and distribution options and the different types of marketing that were out there. We've come a long way in a very, very short period of time, and it's exciting. It is exciting to think about. I can only, imagine what the future holds for us in terms of writers and the options that are available in terms of publishing. And so, now is the time to really get in on that. We don't want to just keep waiting for whatever seems like perfect conditions, because they just don't exist. There are more opportunities and more choices and more, creative options for writers now than ever before in terms of publishing. And it is so much more accessible now, even in terms of cost, than it used to be. And so it is a fantastic opportunity for writers to really start thinking through what they want to do and how they want to publish now and not waiting another year. Reason number 4, why 2025 is the perfect year for you to finally finish your book and publish it, is because books allow us to spread the gospel and expand God's kingdom. This is so important for us who are believers. I really think about the Great Commission a lot here. I believe it's in Matthew chapter 28, the Great Commission, where Jesus tells his disciples to go into the world and preach the gospel. It's interesting that he doesn't give them specific instructions for the different methods they need to take to do that. He leaves it very open. He tells them what they need to do and where they need to go, all the world, right? And so there's so much, room and so much freedom. I believe that was intentional, that Jesus did that on purpose, because God is giving us so much room to declare his word, to declare the gospel in so many different ways, and to expand his kingdom in so many different ways. And so books are a phenomenal resource, a phenomenal way of doing that. It gives us the opportunity to reach people on the other side of the world that we may never meet in person. It gives us the opportunity to encourage and strengthen people and point them to Jesus without ever seeing them face to face or talking to them or knowing their story. They can pick up a book and they can order the book online and they can receive it and be blessed by it and have their lives transformed by it, again, in ways that were not possible 50 years ago. And so it's an extraordinary thing to think about, the way that technology is creating all of these opportunities for us as writers. And I believe we would be foolish to not take advantage of that, to not jump in on that, and to not allow God to lead and guide us and direct us as we walk that out. So it's an extraordinary opportunity. Books are one of the most effective ways of shining the light of God's goodness just in the world, and letting them know about him in a really, succinct and compact way, just making the gospel available to people. And there are so many different ways that we can do that. We can do that through writing about health and wellness, or writing about parenting and marriage and family, business, and even fiction. There's so many unique and creative ways that we can make the gospel available, and that we can, provide options and solutions for people. And so there's so many opportunities for us to be able to do that. Which leads me to my last point. This might be one of my favorites. This is the one I was telling you to, if you're still here, if you're still listening, this is the one I believe is really going to bless you as well. And reason number 5, why 2025 is, I believe, the perfect year for you to finally finish that book that you've been working on, is because there is a demand in this hour for anointed voices and kingdom-oriented solutions. There is a demand in this hour for anointed voices and kingdom-oriented solutions. I am excited about this. I just believe that there is so much hunger in the world. There's so much need for kingdom-oriented solutions, for kingdom ideas, for the message of the gospel and the message of God's goodness to go out. And it's such there's such a need for it, and really a desperation in some ways. If you look long enough at culture, at just the different things there's such a need for fresh voices, for fresh ideas, for fresh solutions. If a lot of the books and the movies and the TV shows and different types of media, let's be honest, they're not always uplifting. Some of it can be so dark and bleak, and you can see some of the hopelessness that's coming out in a lot of the entertainment that is around today, and that is being put out into the world today. And that's people make their different choices about what they want to create, but as believers in Jesus, we can't just complain about the problem. We can't just fuss and hem and haw and whine and be upset about what we see, and complain about how things seem dark and bleak and hopeless, and about the darkness that we see. We are called to be light. And I believe that God is calling us to be the solution to a lot of the things that we're seeing, a lot of the problems that we're seeing in the world right now. But it requires us to get off the sidelines It requires us to get into the game. It requires us to be active and to take initiative and to be bold and to be outspoken for God and to really show the world what His goodness looks like and to show that we have solutions and ideas for problems that actually work. That's so important. And so I believe it's necessary in this day and time. And so I challenge you today. I really challenge you. If you feel like God is calling you to write for Him, don't wait another year. Don't wait another month. Don't put it off and thinking that you have to be perfect and everything has to be just right and you don't have the experience and you don't know where to start and you're not sure, whether you can put the words together correctly and you don't feel like you have beautiful language. It doesn't matter. You can improve as you go. You learn as you go. Writing is one of those skills, and really, I can't think of any skill that's not like this. I can't think of a single skill that you improve by not doing the thing that you're trying to get better at. Think about that. I can't think of a single skill that you can get better at by just not practicing and not doing it and not getting better at it. And writing is no exception. We get better at it by doing it, by practicing, by working, by learning, by growing, and by putting ourselves out there. Now, that doesn't mean you publish your rough draft and that you don't put any editing into it and you don't put any work into it and just throw it out there necessarily. But you have to take at least the first initial steps of getting started. Just start jotting down some ideas. Just start brainstorming, thinking about what you want to say and how you want to say it, and beginning to do the research of what's required to publish and which option you want to take. Do you want to go traditional? Do you want to self-publish? Begin to start taking your first steps on that. Begin to start taking those first initial steps of faith. Because I believe God is faithful to meet you where you are. He's just looking for your obedience. He will provide the resources and the ideas and the tools that are necessary for you to go where He wants you to go. But He needs you to take your first step of faith. He needs you to meet Him where you are. He needs you to trust Him and not be afraid and not let that fear hold you back any longer. Today is the day to finish your book. Today is the day to think about publishing. Today is the day to get off the sidelines and move forward with where God is calling you to go. And I believe that He will lead you every step of the way. So if this live was encouraging to you, if it was helpful to you in any way, if it blessed you, go ahead and subscribe. Let's make this a regular thing. Let's continue this conversation. Go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment leave your comments below, letting me know what you're working on and what you want to hear, what you want to talk about on this channel. What kinds of are you looking forward to seeing? What kinds of messages are you looking forward to seeing? And what is it that you would like to learn about the writing process? I can't wait to see you all next Tuesday. I can't wait for us to continue the discussion, and I can't wait to see what the Lord leads you to write in 2025. Until next time, I'll see y'all next Tuesday. And until then, take care and God bless. Bye, y'all.